Hello guys, Uncle Vasil here with yet another British history video. This time we are going to explore the life and the story of Queen Victoria. I hope you enjoy. Let's get started. Queen Victoria began her rule in 1837 when she was just 18, and she remained on the throne until her death in 1901, giving her a remarkable 63-year reign, longer than any British monarch before her. During this time, Britain underwent enormous transformation. Railways spread across the country, factories multiplied, science advanced rapidly, and the British Empire expanded to become the largest in the world. Her long rule provided a sense of continuity and stability during decades of fast-moving change, and the period even came to be named the Victorian era in recognition of how closely her life and leadership were tied to the nation's identity. During Queen Victoria's long reign, Britain experienced such dramatic industrial, scientific, political, and military change that the country was almost unrecognizable by the time she died. Factories powered by steam engines multiplied, railways connected cities that had once felt worlds apart, and new inventions like the telegraph, photography, and later the telephone reshaped everyday life. Scientific thinkers such as Charles Darwin challenged old ideas, while political reforms gradually expanded voting rights and shifted power away from the monarchy toward parliament. At the same time, Britain's navy and global trade networks grew so rapidly that the nation became the world's leading imperial power, ruling territories across Asia, Africa, and the Pacific. All of these transformations happening at once made the Victorian era one of the most influential periods in British and global history. When King William IV died in 1837, the crown passed to his teenage niece Victoria, who was just 18 and had grown up somewhat sheltered from the political world she was suddenly expected to lead. Overnight, she went from a young woman with limited public experience to the sovereign of a vast and rapidly changing kingdom. Her accession marked a dramatic shift in the monarchy, as she represented a new generation after a series of older kings, and the public was fascinated by the idea of such a young queen taking on such enormous responsibility. Despite her age, Victoria quickly showed a strong sense of duty and independence, setting the tone for a reign that would become one of the most influential in British history. In 1876, Queen Victoria was given the title Empress of India, a move that reflected just how vast and powerful the British Empire had become under her rule. India was considered the jewel in the crown of the empire because of its enormous population, rich resources, and strategic importance, and granting Victoria this new title was meant to emphasize Britain's dominance there. The decision also strengthened the symbolic connection between the monarchy and Britain's imperial ambitions, presenting Victoria not just as the queen of a European nation but as the figurehead of a global empire. Although the title was largely ceremonial, it carried enormous political weight, marking the peak of British imperial expansion and reinforcing Victoria's image as a ruler whose influence stretched across continents. Queen Victoria's marriage to Prince Albert in 1840 became one of the most defining relationships of her life, shaping not only her personal happiness but also the direction of her reign. Albert was deeply involved in the arts, science, and social reform, and he encouraged Victoria to take a more thoughtful, modern approach to leadership, influencing everything from industrial exhibitions to educational initiatives. Their partnership was unusually close for royal marriages of the time, and Victoria relied heavily on his advice and emotional support. When Albert died suddenly in 1861 at just 42, Victoria was devastated. She withdrew from public life, wore black mourning clothes for the rest of her life, and kept his rooms exactly as he left them. Her decades-long grief became a defining feature of her later reign, showing how profoundly his loss affected both her personally and the monarchy as a whole. Over the course of her long reign, Queen Victoria became more than a monarch. She evolved into a unifying symbol of stability for a nation undergoing rapid and sometimes unsettling change. As Britain shifted from a rural society to an industrial powerhouse, expanded its empire across the globe, and reformed its political system to include more voices, Victoria's steady presence offered people a sense of continuity. Her personal values, duty, family, and respectability became closely associated with British identity itself, shaping how the monarchy presented itself to the public. By the time she died in 1901, she had helped transform the crown into a modern constitutional institution rooted in tradition yet adaptable to change, leaving a legacy that influenced how future monarchs connected with their people and represented the nation on the world stage. This is the end of the video, guys. I hope you found this educational. For more history content, please check out my channel. Also, don't forget to like, share and subscribe.